What's going on, you guys? Paul here with Paul's Performance, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I am going to be installing a disaster prevention kit on a CJAA 2.0 TDI Jetta. I'm also going to be doing an explanation as to why this would be a good upgrade to your system. I'm going to show you what it looks like inside of CP4 and what exactly this kit's doing. And then, like I said, obviously show you guys how to install it. So let's get over to the workbench and I'll explain to you exactly what we're doing and how it works. Alrighty guys, so as you can see here, we have a CP4 pump, we have our disaster prevention kit, and then we have a disassembled CP4 pump. These are the ones that come off of CJAAs. I've done some CP3 swaps, so I have two of these laying around the shop here for some examples. So anyways, we're going to start here with the disassembled pump. So you have your casing here. Like I said, you're going to have your inlet and outlet ports from factory, and then like I said, you're going to have your high pressure side is going to bolt on right here. Your plunger is going to be inside this housing as well, slid down into that port. This is your metering valve. Your metering valve is going to go right here, and then this is your bottom end, as we would call it, with your cam, and this is going to sit here and rotate, and as that rotates, it pushes this spring up and down, creating high pressure on the top end side. So now for your problem as to why when these fail you have to spend thousands of dollars on a full fuel system. So fuel only has one inlet into this assembly. It comes in and comes into this bottom end down here. It lubricates this bottom end with this roller and the cam, and then it also goes out through one of these ports, and that port comes up to the metering valve and feeds the top end. Now the problem is typically how these will fail is this roller is supposed to ride on this cam just like so, but there's nothing actually holding this staying straight. So sometimes this can turn sideways like this, and it'll just wear into this cam and wear this roller down, and it'll create metal shavings that will in turn go up into the top end and then ruin your injectors. Like I said, the pump obviously is ruined, but then it's going to ruin the entire system, causing you to spend a lot of money. So now I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing to prevent the entire system from being destroyed in this aspect. Alrighty, so this is what's going to come in your disaster prevention kit. I'm going to go over this a little bit more obviously when we're installing it, but anyways, I'm going to talk about this. So we're going to take this piece over to this pump here. So what you're going to be doing with the disaster prevention kit is, like I said, this, you're going to pull out your metering valve, and this right here is going to go in the place of the metering valve. And if you look at this fitting right here, and there's no port to actually pull fuel from the bottom end. It actually blocks off that fuel inlet from the bottom port. And if you notice, there is no nipple coming off of this metering valve, but there is one coming off of this. So what it's going to be doing is it blocks off the bottom end fuel inlet. So any fuel from the bottom end will no longer be able to feed the top end. And then you're going to have this fuel hose here that's going to run over to the factory fuel filter housing, and you're going to tee off of that factory fuel filter housing, giving the top end of this CP4 pump clean fuel only. So even in the event that the bottom end fails, it's not going to be pushing fuel to the top end. So all of this bottom end particles are going to hopefully stay in this bottom end, and then they will also come out of the return line, but that return line goes to the fuel filter. So in the event that the bottom end fails, it should only require a CP4 and a fuel filter to be changed rather than injectors, fuel rail, all of that. So like I said, there is different ways for these pumps to fail and cause issues, but like I said, typically with a CP4, it's going to be this bottom end. And like I said, with this kit keeping you from getting any of that bottom end fuel, it's going to prevent you from ruining the entire fuel system, saving you a lot of money. Because like I said, this isn't cheap by any means. This pump is probably going to be, I would say, around $700 typically, depending on where you get it. But an entire fuel system for a CJAA 2.0 is about $3,500, and that's just parts, and then you'd have to get it installed. So $700 versus $3,500 is a huge savings, especially when this kit is only about $200 and some dollars. Like I said, depending on where you get it, it's really a good insurance to prevent you from having to spend such a huge amount in the event that this pump fails. Now, there obviously is other options. On my personal car, I went ahead and did a CP3 swap, which, like I said, the CP3, you can watch videos. I won't talk about that one as much in this, but that is a more reliable pump. So like I said, you could also do that swap as well. For any of you guys with high mileage vehicles, I typically recommend going with a CP3 swap, because like I said, the pump is going to be heavily worn if you've made it, you know, that far anyway. So it's going to be best to put a new one in it anyways. And like I said, if you're putting a new one in it, it's worth doing the CP3 swap rather than putting another CP4, just because, like I said, the CP4 is known for being problematic, especially once they get, you know, up to the 100,000 plus mark. And you know how these TDIs are, they like to go way more than 100,000 miles, so you really don't want to have issues. But anyways, so like I said, we're going to get out to the car, and I'm going to show you guys how to install this kit. That way you can get a better view of exactly what I'm talking about. I just wanted to kind of show you the internals and see if you could, and just kind of show you exactly what's going on and why this kit is very helpful. All right, guys, so here's the fully assembled CP4 pump for the CJAA. I just wanted to give you guys a complete view so you know exactly what you're looking at. But as I was saying, with the disassembled one, you have your inlet and return lines coming in here, and then you have your line going to your high pressure rail, and that's it. So like I said, factory setup with meter and valve and all, this pump shares fuel from bottom end to top end. And basically what we're going to be doing with this kit is we're going to be allowing the top end to have its own fuel source separate from the bottom end. That way, if the bottom end fails, it's on its own and it doesn't ruin the top end. So that's a simple way of saying what we're doing, because like I said, the top end, when you have fuel here, it's not high pressure until it goes through this side, but it needs clean fuel coming in. And factory, it's pulling fuel from the bottom end up to this meter and valve, and anything the bottom end produces is what the top end's going to take and create high pressure fuel. So all we're doing is giving it a different source of low pressure fuel to the top end that is clean and won't have to go through the bottom end and ruin your system. Alrighty, so here's our kit. This come from Whitbread or Whitbread Diesel, however you want to say it. You're going to get your meter and valve CNC fitting here. It's going to come with hose. It's going to come with this 10 micron filter. Make sure you pay attention to this in and out. We'll talk about that when we get it installed. But this is a filter. I think it also has a magnet inside as well. You're going to get your T-fitting, some zip ties, this hose, this stuff right here. We're probably not going to use, but I am going to show you how they want it to do. I just have some better fasteners at my shop that I use, so I'll show you those as well. All your clamps, you're going to have your O-rings to go on your fitting, and then you're also going to have this cap here that's going to go right on the end of this fitting as well. So anyways, we're going to get out to the car and get this installed. Alrighty guys, so we're over at the car. This right here is a CJAA 2.0 TDI. This is in a Jetta. This kit works on other engine codes too. Like I said, you can check those on Whitebread's website. There is also a installation manual, like drawings that they have on their website as well that you can get. I may leave a link in the description to get straight to the one for this particular car, but they do have them for all of the ones that they sell. I've also done one on the Jetta TDI 3.0 and my fiance's Touareg, so they have different kits for different engine codes as well as different TDI motors. So anyways, we're gonna get under the hood and I'm gonna get back in first person and show you guys how to put it on. Alrighty, so first thing we're gonna do, if you have your engine cover on, we're gonna pop that off. This one's already popped off, but yours might come off a little bit easier or harder depending on if you have all of your things installed. So on the car, your CP4 pump is going to be located here. This is your CP4 pump. As you can see, there's your high pressure line. There is your return and inlet lines here. If you look right here, you can see this arrow pointing in. Like I said, this is your temperature, fuel temperature sensor. So like I said, this is going to be your feed. And if you remember, on the actual pump, it's going to have arrows telling you which one's inlet and outlet. But you can always just look right here. And like I said, this is fuel inlet. It's going to be coming from this little fuel pump here. So anyways, we're going to get started by removing the connector for the metering valve. The best way to do it is to push forward and then try to get your unlock and then pull out. This little lock tab here just pulls back to unlock. Like I said, it's always best to push forward to really loosen it and then try to unlock it and pull it out. Sometimes they'll be a little tricky and you can take a pick and stick it in there and unlock it from the back, but like I said, this one come out that way, and I typically have good luck with that. So now we're going to need a T25 to remove these two bolts that hold the metering valve on. You're going to want to spray brake clean or something, or get this area clean, make sure there's no dirt or anything that's going to drop down in the pump when you remove that. So I'm going to go ahead and go get some brake clean and stuff and spray this area off and get it nice and clean before I remove that. Alrighty guys, so I'm going to go ahead and assemble this fitting before I put this in the car and put the metering valve in it. Typically I like to use this assembly glue for any time I'm putting on O-rings, just to kind of help tack it up and help it stay in place while I'm installing, and also make sure that like I said, it's got a little bit of lubricant on it to help seal up, but it also helps hold it into place, because sometimes a dry O-ring can catch and cause issues during installation, and then cut, and you don't want none of that. So like I said, I like to put a little bit of this assembly glue on it. It's almost like a grease, but I don't really like to use grease because it kind of sticks around for a while, whereas this assembly glue is kind of made for this. It's like a transmission O-ring assembly glue that goes on, and then like I said, it doesn't really stay around as much like as grease. It just kind of is a good assembly lubricant. So we got smaller O-ring on the bottom, we got our larger one on the mating surface here, and then we're going to take this fitting, which already has the O-ring on it, and we're going to install that while it's out as well, and then we're going to go over to the car. Alrighty guys, so I got my area cleaned off. I got my two T25s removed. I also have this little blower that I'll use to blow off any dust and dry the area out. So now we're going to take the metering valve and we're going to remove it. Like I said, you can kind of twist it, pull it out, nice and clean down in there. We're going to inspect the metering valve, make sure we don't have any bad like metal or anything in it. Like I said, there's a little bit of dirt right there. We're going to go ahead and clean that off. I don't see any metal. Like I said, it looks nice and clean down in here, other than, like I said, there's a little bit of dirt right here. It doesn't look like metal though, it just looks like dirt. We're going to go ahead and get that cleaned out, and then we're going to install it back. So if you notice, this piece right here is only going to go in one way. If you try to put it in the opposite way, it's not going to actually go down because it's going to be hitting these indentations. So the fitting's going to go in this way, and we're going to put our metering valve in like so. Kind of twist it in there. If you need some lubricant, you can add some, and it's going to go in just like this. So we're going to have to use the new bolts as well, since we're adding in this. So the original bolts we're going to not use, and we're going to go get the bolts that come with this kit, and we're going to install that on here. Before we install it, now that we have it open, we're really going to make sure we have this area clean and install. Alrighty guys, so we got our area clean, and we're going to take our assembly and we're going to install it in here. You can kind of twist it till you hear it pop all the way down flat against that housing. And then we have our new bolts that come with the kit. They are going to be Allen or hex, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get those installed and tightened down, and then we're going to move on to the next step. Alrighty guys, so we got that installed. We got our two 4mm Allens tightened down, and we're going to take this hose that come with the kit and we're going to install it on this nipple. I'm going to go ahead and put this clamp down, and we're going to tighten this clamp up right here, and then we're also going to go ahead and plug this back in. Once we get that tightened, your metering valve, you just plug that right back in, and then I'm going to show you where we're going to cut and how I'm going to route this hose a little differently, and how they want you to do it in the Whitbread kit, which is perfectly fine, but like I said, I just have a little bit different fasteners. Alrighty, so we got our metering valve plugged back in, we got our hose clamped tight. So the way they want you to route it is to curl this line over and you're going to put this zip tie. So you're going to go down and you're going to wrap around that fuel line, and you're going to come back up through this little hose here. And like I said, this hose comes in the kit, this little like 1/2 inch size, and then this will be tied right in there, and then you'll wrap this around the hose and zip tie it, and that'll give you like a little rubber dampener with this zip tie on here, holding it on to this line. Alrighty guys, so we have come here to our feed line and we found this straight section, and we cut it right about here. We want to give enough for the T's to go into these lines. So now I'm going to install this, and we're going to install this T fitting here. Alrighty guys, so we got our T fitting installed here. As you can see, we got our 3 clamps, and our hose ran down and through to this T fitting. I added in one of those zip ties I showed you, which are kind of like the dual butterfly, or like I said, handcuff style zip ties to hold it down here and prevent it from moving around. And then we have the one that come with the Whitbread kit here. So now we have our inlet side is completed. Like I said, if you want to, you can add in some wire loom or some sort of protector to protect this hose from rubbing in any of the spots you might see it getting a rub. I might add some right in here just to prevent it from if it ever comes near this fuel filter housing. But anyways, now we're going to get to the return line from the pump. So here's our return line from the pump. It comes through and is going to go out back to the filter. This is where we're going to have to add our little inline filter here. So the way this is going to be added is it's coming out and going this way. So your inlet will need to be hooked into this side, and your outlet will need to go towards the filter. And so what we're going to do is we're going to cut out this hose right here, and we're going to input this right in this area. Alrighty guys, so we have our inline filter installed on our return line. Like I said, your return line is this one here. There's your return coming back from the fuel injectors. We come in, we put this inline filter right in this straight section here. So that's how it's lined up. Like I said, there's your in and out. Take note of that. Like I said, in is coming from the engine, out is going to the filter because this is the return line. And yeah, so I've also added in some wire loom here because once the cover comes down, it could possibly rub this line. So I added some loom, and I also added some here where it could possibly rub into this filter. And then like I said earlier, I'd added in this zip tie down here to keep that line from moving. So now the installation as far as on the car is done. The only thing you have to do now is if you have a cover, we're going to have to do some trimming. So if you see right here where we're coming down, it's going to be hitting this line. So we're going to need to come in and kind of make a little section here for this line to come in. That way it doesn't push down on it. And like I said, your cover can go on. If you don't have a cover, like I said, you're done. But we're going to cut this out, and I'll show you what I had to do to get this right. Alrighty guys, so we got our cover notch cut out. This is what I cut out here. And then I come in with a file to kind of clean the edges up, and I'll show you guys what it looks like on here. So with it installed, as you can see, I have plenty of room here to cut out. Like I said, this is, you can do it however you want it. Like I said, I just take a Sawzall and kind of cut my most of it out, and then I come in and kind of clean it up with either a razor blade or this to kind of get rid of any of the jagged edges. And then like I said, we can pop her in there, and like I said, she is ready to be started. The only other thing we got to do now is we're going to have to hook up to VCDS and run the fuel pump a couple for like 30 seconds or so to kind of re-prime the system before we start it up, since we've kind of drained the fuel out of these lines while we've been working on it. But anyways, alrighty guys, so we're in the car. We have the ignition turned on, and we're going to go to VCDS. We're going to connect. We're going to go to engine. We're going to let it connect. I'm going to click basic settings, and we're going to go down and fuel pump supply activation. Alrighty, and then once you get to here, you can read through this. It tells you, like I said, you should do it at least 3 times. Like I said, you could do it 4 or 5 just to really be sure. But what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to the top, and we're going to hit this, and you should hear the fuel pump engage. And like I said, we're going to go through, do that at least 3+ times, and then after that, you should be able to start the car. Don't start the car and just drive off. Let the car idle and kind of continuously get the air out for at least 5 to 10 minutes, and then take the car for a drive. But like I said, if it shuts off, then you're going to have to redo this procedure. So like I said, do it more than 3 times, and you should be good. Alrighty guys, so that concludes the install of the disaster prevention kit for the 2.0 TDI, like I said, with the CJAA, but like I said, the others are very similar. But like I said, that's what this one was on for this particular video. I have the car outside right now, just kind of running. Like I said earlier, make sure you let it run for 5 to 10 minutes after you get it back running, just to kind of get the air out, because if it shuts off, you don't want to hop right in it and go down the road, be full throttle, and it has an air pocket in it. Like I said, if you run the fuel pump enough, it should start right up and should not shut back off. But like I said, it's still a possibility you don't get all the air out of it and it could shut back off. If so, redo the fuel pump procedure at least 3 more times, and then restart it, and like I said, let it idle for 5 or 10 minutes to kind of help move all that air out, and then you should be good to go. Like I said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I was trying out something new with the first person point of view using the Meta glasses. They can record for like 3 minutes now, so it really helps to get a first person view. Let me know if you guys actually enjoyed that first person view. I may implement it into a lot more videos if you guys like it. I feel like it might help you really see what's going on up close and personal, a lot easier than just a camera kind of over my shoulder. So let me know what you guys think about this particular video platform with the first person view. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this really get you the information you need if you're thinking about putting this kit on, or if you're curious about buying a 2.0 and you're kind of scared about the CP4 and you're uncertain about that. I hope this kind of gets you the information that you're looking for. If you have any questions, obviously leave them down in the comment section, and I'll try to get back to them as quickly as possible. Like I said, as always, I appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.